Hello, everybody. I'm back with my good friend Charles Crooks. He is a shaman and a healer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, just to give everybody a perspective, what is a shaman? Can you explain that to us, Charles?
A shaman, in the traditional sense, is basically known as the village holy man. Somebody who goes through training or shows some qualities that allows training to occur. I use that term for a matter of simplicity. The tradition I'm involved with has no name, and therefore I have a title, but shaman's the best thing I can use on that. And but basically, shaman's been around for I'd say thousands of years, assisting in the healing and what's the term I want to use? Assisting in the healing and the upliftment of humanity.
And are there shamans in every culture? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and so when people haven't really heard of the word shaman, if they look around and do some research, they can see that shamans, as you say, have been around for thousands of years, and they are prevalent in every culture. But what culture, you said you have no name with your tradition, but is it like Indian, Tibetan, Chinese?
Chinese.
Chinese, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're not Chinese, but
No.
you're pulling that tradition.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we were talking about healing, and you heal, but you can't heal all because there is a permission issue. Can you talk about what you mean by we have to give permission? Why? Why do one have to give permission?
Because for me to make that judgment over someone else is a complete act of arrogance and aggression. We're being completely inappropriate. How can I walk around and tell somebody they need healing when I may not be looking at the whole picture? That's really kind of silly. So generally, if someone would like to get something done, they'll bring the subject up or give me authorization to, do some work. But again, authorization must be granted. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care how altruistic somebody might be. Authorization must occur. If not, you're being just as bad as the bad guys themselves because you're using arrogance and ego over someone else. That's completely unacceptable.
So you don't believe in, or you don't know, I don't want to use the word belief, but
neither do I, because I don't support it at all either. I don't support belief in this work either.
I know
it works or doesn't.
So people give you permission, and when you heal them, you think about that. Why is that you say, I'd be arrogant? Is it because I am the same as you? Or you say this line, we're all part of the whole and not separate. The whole of what?
Oh, all right. If all things are part of the whole and no things separate, basically you go back to the initial religious beliefs talking about the nature of God, and all societies basically support the idea that there's no thing outside the light of God. If that is being the case, there's no thing outside the light of God, then how can I assume myself to be superior to another individual? The difference between myself and a bank robber is choice. Okay? I could rob banks, but that stuff bores the beans out of me. Okay? So I do this work. It's because of what I'm drawn to. Bank robber, they're drawn to their stuff. Maybe at some time they'll end up doing this work in the future. You never know. But the point still remains, is I'm not superior to that individual, therefore I have no judgment in that manner. And if I have no judgment and I'm not superior, how can I override what their path is? And how can I assume I know that they need healing? That's an act of arrogance in the big time. It doesn't work. Number one, it doesn't allow the other person the right to be without assistance.
Okay. And now, let's go back to this permission thing. So you say you have to have somebody's permission. But I know that I've come to you and say, Charles, I give you permission to do this. And then you still can't heal me because you're telling me I'm not giving you permission.
That's
Even though
correct.
I'm like going, I am. But you look deeper than what we actually, our physical voice is saying. You're looking.
That's correct, yeah. And also in some situations what will happen is somebody will, would like something done. And they'd like to get that done, but the problem is to get that done, they have to release something else, and they're not ready to release that other item. So they have to make the call on that. So that's their call. And when they basically release that other item, I'll get the green light, and I can fix it.
And so, is there anything when you're healing somebody? Is there anything that person needs to be doing?
Nope.
They just sit there, don't they, and watch and wonder.
Yeah, about right.
I can tell you, folks. The first time I came to see Charles, he was like doing all this stuff, and with his hands, and I want to go into that.
Okay.
What is it that you're doing with your hands? Because I was like blown away thinking, okay, this is pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked. So what is it you do with your hands?
What I do is I extract the emotional component, or in other words, the thought energy matrix that's associated with the emotion that's in the intellect. When I pull that out, it kind of looks like a hairball, but only it's alive. And it's about the size of about 9 to 12 inches, depending on how big it is, and also depending on the weight. It also has weight and mass. And so what I'll do is I'll encapsulate it. When I encapsulate it, then I'll go ahead and I'll either combine them or do some work on it, or I'll disassemble it. When I disassemble it, it becomes dust. When it becomes dust, then I move it on out and send it into a curtain of light and return it back to 1 to 0, so to speak.
Wow. Well, I think that's enough for right now. Again, thank you, Charles, for being with us today. We'll be back with you. If we wanted to reach you, where can we reach you?
Through the website, healerofheartsandminds.com, and the second website, a mirror, shamanic-enterprises.com.
Thanks again, Charles. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you very much.